Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 37 of Calisthenics Endurance, and today let's talk a little bit about training philosophy, or mentality, I should say, because lately I've been trying to change the mentality I have with my training by changing the philosophy around it. So, this is something that applies for beginners as well as advanced people who train, but basically, when you're starting out training or when you're training for a while and you're excited about your training, if you don't like your training and it's a dread, you're not gonna relate to this. But if you're excited about your training and getting stronger, what you will most likely find is that you try to do a lot of training and you train perhaps too much and you're always tired. Training is supposed to make you stronger, it's supposed to make you feel energetic, yet you want to do so much training that now you're tired all the time. It's something that will happen to each of us if you actually love your training. And so you're in this mindset, right, where you're starting your training with the question, am I recovered? Am I doing too much? Will I be able to, dash out all of my power in this workout? You're asking yourself those questions because you're still sore from last workout. You're still tired, You're at your day job or you're at school. It's midday and you're sleepy because your body is trying to recover, right? And that's because you're perhaps doing a lot of training. But I've been trying to change my mindset because I've been training for 1,000 push-ups in one workout, and I almost got there, but in the build-up to that 1,000 push-up attempt, I was basically doing so much volume that I got tired, and you can handle it for a while, right? And so I was going through hard training, I was doing intense training, I was doing it frequently, and I was doing it in high volume. That's the three pillars of training. You have your volume, frequency, and then also the intensity, right? If one of those three goes up, the others have to go down. And if you try to keep them up all at the same time, eventually your body's gonna crash. So you have to play around with this, right? And so oftentimes I had difficulties choosing because I wasn't putting a limit on myself. Now, you don't want to put a limit on yourself, right? Is what you're probably asking, and that's true, but you're gonna have to compensate somewhere. And until now, I've always been, compensating in the recovery aspect, I should say, and getting tired. But I'm now trying to flip around the coin where, instead of doing so much training that I'm worried about my recovery, I want to try and see if I can do so much recovery that I'm worried about my training, so to speak, right? So what I'm slowly getting into right now is changing up my workout schedule so that the frequency of each workout is lower. Remember, intensity, volume, and then frequency. And I'm still training every day, but I'm doing more kind of workouts. And so today is hamstrings. I'm doing hamstrings, but the next time I'm doing hamstrings is going to be in 5 days. That's a lot of time of recovery, right? And so what I'm also doing is I'm toning down the volume a little bit. So now I'm toning down two pillars, right? I'm making sure that my workouts every day are around 30 minutes, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more, but around those 30 minutes and not more, right? So I have to tone it down. I have to make sure that I use my time efficiently. And in doing so, low frequency combines with, relatively low volume as well, because it's a short time to work out, leaves me at a point where hopefully, if this works out, I will be able to do a lot of intensity, right? All of a sudden, I'm worried if I'm recovering too much, right? Perhaps in 3 days or 4 days, I will still have 2 days left before the next hamstring workout, but I'll be, on the bike going to work, feeling that my hamstrings are completely recovered. I'll be itching to go again. That's kind of the point, right? If you're going into your workout itching to go, itching to work out, itching to basically release all of the energy you have, that's the mindset you need going into a workout. That's how you bring the intensity. And so we all want to train as hard as possible. We all want to reach our goals. But if we don't put limits on ourselves, then we're just going all out on all of the goals we have. And it's gonna cause that we don't progress at all because we don't recover. But if you put these limits on yourself, you make these clear rules, I'm gonna train one workout every 5 days, or perhaps I'm gonna do 3 workouts a week, 1 chest, or 1 push, 1 pull, 1 legs. And perhaps by making those frequency and in volume parts ridiculously low, you're gonna have to figure out how can I push myself as hard as possible in the constraints that I have, right? And that's kind of the philosophy I'm taking. Hopefully, by doing this, I'll have the horse cocking mindset where, I just, like today, I'm like, holy hell, it's been a while since I trained hamstrings. Let's go hard, let's do some more. And perhaps next time I will think like, hey, I was recovered the day before yesterday. I have to do more. I have to go harder. I can go harder. And it's that mindset that will make you stronger, right? So that's something I'm trying. I'm trying to flip the table. I'm trying to push the recovery, right? Instead of the training, or I'm pushing the training, but I'm putting so much constraints on the volume and the frequency that I can go as intense as I want and then still recover, right? That's kind of the point. And we'll see how it goes. Perhaps in a few weeks, when I've done my split for a while and I've seen the results, I can get back to you. But, training is it's a mindset, right? It's a philosophy. It's the way you go about it. It's the way you approach your training that is gonna, decide whether you get results or not. And so, no one has the answers. But the thing is, you just have to go out there and try. I'm experimenting a lot at the moment. I don't, I have 10 years of experience, I didn't get where I am by not trying the things I don't know. No, you're gonna have to find out. And you do it by trying. So, yeah, I'm yapping now. Let's see what happens.